Hi there, Dr. Mark here, and in today's video, we're gonna go over a highly requested topic, which is how to eat and work out according to the female menstrual cycle. For years in the nutrition and health space, we've been given the exact same recommendations to men and women. But as research develops and we learn more about the female hormone cycle, we're learning that there are distinct differences between what women should be doing at different times in the month. So today we're gonna talk about just that and the considerations you may wanna make around your female client's menstrual cycle so you can help your clients effectively reach their goals and make sure they're feeling great throughout the month. And since, well, elephant in the room, I'm a dude, I've enlisted the help of Dr. Mark Method instructor and weight loss specialist, Coach Meredith, to teach you everything you need to know about the topic. So take it away, Meredith.
Hey everyone, I'm Coach Meredith, a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. And for the last decade, I've coached women, particularly moms, who want to lose weight and get stronger. Like Mark mentioned, over the decades, there has been little information around how the female cycle affects our nutrition, exercise, and weight loss until very recently. But you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that a women's cycle can affect everything from energy levels to appetite to water retention throughout the month. As a coach who works primarily with female clients, most women express experiencing a lack of energy, increased cravings, bloating, and digestive issues, and mood changes at different points in their cycle. And as more research is done on this topic, the evidence is clear that during certain points of a woman's cycle, adjustments should be made to her training and nutrition plan to help support her progress. Now, before we get to the good stuff, first, should women actually eat and exercise differently according to their cycle? This really depends on the individual woman and her cycle symptoms. Some women notice little to no difference in their energy levels or motivation throughout the month. And if they do, they may not need to adjust their nutrition or their training because their symptoms are managed. However, some women experience these symptoms more intensely, particularly those with PCOS, endometriosis, or other hormonal imbalances. For these clients, making adjustments to their nutrition and exercise can make a huge impact. A great example of these adjustments and helping a client is from Dr. Mark Method assistant coach Josie. And here's what she had to say.
So I have this client who I've been working with for a while, and we noticed that every time, certain days of the month, she would get really fatigued. She would lose all of her motivation. And, I asked her, what's kind of going on around here? And she mentioned, this is when I start my period. I tend to have really bad cycle symptoms, primarily the week before her period starts. She's not on hormonal birth control, so, she's just experiencing a natural period. And yeah, she would experience for about a week and a half just really low energy levels. She'd have really bad cravings. She'd lose her motivation. Like in the coaching sphere, we call it like a case of the effits, where you just don't care. You're like, whatever. And so she would experience that pretty consistently around the same time of the month. So I started incorporating a lot of the things that you're going to talk about in this video in her training program, like lowering workout intensity around that time of the month, incorporating different foods like more fiber, more magnesium, focusing on sleep and recovery. And she's seen a huge improvement, not only in her adherence to the plan, because she kind of already knows that during that time of the month, she's not going to be overwhelmed. She doesn't have to be like a superstar, weightlifter in the gym. She's fluxing with her energy. But the really cool thing is she's also seeing an improvement in her cycle symptoms just by making these small changes to her workout and diet plan. So it's been a really positive experience that I've had with this client in particular. Now, I will say most of my clients don't do this. This is the one exception I've had where a client has really complained around her period. But for her, it's been a big game changer for our trainings. So for some people, it can be really helpful to train according to their cycle.
At the end of the day, I don't necessarily recommend that you coach every female client according to these recommendations. And for some clients, it's not actually relevant and it may distract them from their initial goal. But for those clients who do experience a more intense cycle, making these adjustments can help them stick to their plan and make them feel so much better. Now that we've gone over that disclaimer, let's quickly cover the 4 stages of the female cycle. A women's menstrual menstrual cycle is typically around 28 days long and is broken up into 4 stages. The menstrual phase is the first stage of the menstrual cycle. It's also when a woman starts her period. This phase starts when an egg from the previous cycle is not fertilized, so the body sheds the thickened uterine lining that it would have used to support pregnancy. But because pregnancy hasn't taken place, the hormones estrogen and progesterone drop. During the menstrual phase, women might experience symptoms such as abdominal cramping and low back pain, bloating, mood swings, headache, or lack of energy. The menstrual phase usually lasts around 3 to 7 days. The second stage is the follicular phase. The follicular phase starts on the first day of a woman's period, so there is some overlap with the menstrual phase, and it ends when she ovulates. During this phase, the body starts developing the next egg that'll be fertilized during ovulation. Women often describe this time of their cycle as when they feel the most energized. They feel motivated and up to more intense workouts, where the opposite may be true for the luteal and menstrual phases. The follicular phase typically lasts around 16 days, but the duration can depend on the individual. The third phase is ovulation. Ovulation is a short window of time, typically 24 hours, where a mature egg is ready to be fertilized for pregnancy. After the short ovulation window, if the egg has not been fertilized, it will essentially die off and start the final stage, the luteal phase. During the luteal stage, estrogen decreases and progesterone rises as the body prepares for the menstrual cycle. During the luteal phase, women may experience a lack of energy, mood changes, bloating, and increase in cravings. These symptoms may be considered premenstrual syndrome, or also known as PMS. If any women watching have ever experienced a cranky mood, only to confirm that your period is coming a few days later, this is what's happening. After the luteal phase, the cycle starts all over again. As a coach, you can imagine, due to the cyclical dips in energy, mood, and appetite, making changes to your client's workout and nutrition plan may be necessary throughout the month to try to accommodate where your client is at in her cycle. In order to do this, it is helpful to think of the female cycle in just 2 stages: follicular and luteal. The luteal stage will encompass the actual luteal phase and menstruation, when energy levels are low and women are experiencing PMS symptoms, where the follicular stage will encompass the actual follicular phase and ovulation when energy levels are high. Let's start with the training and nutrition recommendations for the follicular phase. During this phase, your clients will feel motivated and energetic, which means the intensity in the gym can be increased at this time. This is the time to lift heavy and increase your intensity of your cardio activity. For nutrition during the follicular phase, if a client is trying to lose weight and build muscle, you want your client eating higher carb and higher protein to accommodate the work that they are doing in the gym, and keep the fats on the low to moderate end. During the follicular phase, nutrition will be relatively normal, using the typical strategies you would use for any client. However, these things start to change during the luteal phase. This is when your female clients typically have a dip in energy and motivation, and their cravings will start to increase. For training, these clients that experience an energy dip and discomfort may benefit from a decrease in training intensity. You may want to encourage your clients to lift to maintain muscle instead of actively pushing themselves to increase their intensity. And for cardio, instead of high intensity training, encourage them to lower the intensity of their cardio, focusing on things like steady state walking or biking. During this time as well, their recovery may be slightly compromised. So encouraging your client to get adequate sleep, protein, and recovery, such as stretching and mobility drills, will be highly beneficial. Now let's talk about nutrition during the luteal phase. During this phase, your client may benefit from increasing both protein and fat due to the increase in progesterone, which uses these macronutrients to prepare for menstruation. And to accommodate these adjustments, carbohydrates may be lowered. As women are in the luteal phase, they will also benefit from consuming foods high in fiber and magnesium, helping to decrease bloating. Encouraging your clients to eat more leafy greens such as spinach, and increasing things like vegetable, oatmeal, beans, and lentils will help your clients get in more fiber and help with regular digestion. Lastly, one big complaint that women have at this time is cravings. These cravings can be especially detrimental to a weight loss plan. One practical suggestion you can make to clients at this time, when they're experiencing high levels of cravings, is encouraging them to create a calorie buffer in their plan for the day to allow them to have a treat while staying on track. Another thing to consider for clients in the luteal phase who are experiencing cravings is meal timing. Many clients will benefit from eating every 3 to 4 hours, emphasizing well-balanced meals, which will help them to stay satisfied throughout the day and reduce those cravings. And that's how to eat and exercise according to the female cycle based on the research and information we have today. Remember, not all women will benefit from eating and exercising according to their cycle. But for the women who do experience more intense cycle symptoms, this could be a game changer for their wellness routine that allows them to work with their body, not against it. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Coach Meredith, for the great rundown. And as great as all those tips are, if you're really serious about starting a nutrition coaching business, the next thing I'm gonna have you do is check out this video I've linked up right here. Today, we learned all about how to eat according to your menstrual cycle. Next up, I'm gonna teach you all about nutrition recommendations for female athletes. So check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.